Hey everyone, Jonathan here. Now I have to say that this weekend at the Belgian Grand Prix, I can't say I was surprised about the outcome, but for sure impressed and shocked at what kind of difference Max Verstappen and Red Bull have over the whole field, including over his teammate Checo. So let's get into it and give you some quick highlights of Sunday's race. I wish I could show you the video clip, but I'm not sure if we can or when we have a live, if I can even reproduce a video clip without triggering a copyright or claim of some sort. But separate from that, Lewis, Alonso, and Russell got a great launch over Checo, who was pointing his car towards the inside to cover off Fernando, which ended up hurting him in turn one as he lost places to both Alonso and Lewis. Now Lewis and Alonso raced up Eau Rouge onto the Kimmel Straight. Lewis got a good slipstream without any DRS yet available in the first lap. Now Lewis got side by side, front wheels ahead of Alonso, and on Lecombe in turn 7, turned in, closing off Fernando on the inside and touching wheels. Lewis's car flew in the air and ended up retiring the car with potential damage to the PU. Now the factory will check and see if he will need to change the PU or not, which will lead to a grid penalty in Zandvoort. Lewis later on was able to see the replay and acknowledged that it was his fault and had expressed that Fernando was in his blind spot and was not able to see him. Alonso, on the other hand, appreciated Lewis taking responsibility and said it was a racing incident. Much was made about Alonso's comment over the radio, but as they say, those comments on the radio are meant for their engineers and not as something for broadcasting as a fact. I mean, you have to remember they are racing, and at that moment you are not thinking if it is on purpose or not, other than your focus and what you need to do. Should they give the drivers some privacy back over the radio broadcasting, or leave it to the public to judge the drivers by their comments? Leave a comment below on your thoughts. As far as Red Bull, Max Verstappen had an outstanding day. A rocket ship of a car. I mean, moving from 14th to 1st by lap 12 and retaking the lead by lap 18 after the first rounds of pit stops. I mean, he ended the race with a 17-second lead over his teammate Checo Perez, which shows you the dominance Max has over the car and his ability to extract the most out of it. Was Red Bull carrying different pieces or changes in Max's car over Checo, testing out some changes they plan to bring later on, as it seems they are set to introduce weight saving very soon? Please comment. Now, last and not least, Ferrari. Well, Carlos Sainz ran his race as clean as he could, while again, it seems Charles has hit a string of continuous bad luck. Not only did he start from the back beside Verstappen, but had a piece of tear off from the visor from Max Verstappen, which fell into his brake duct, causing overheating as he went to the pit early to cover any possible tire puncture as well as what was found. This then led Charles to be out of sync with the whole field, and at the end, as he was aiming for 5th, the team called him in to add the fastest lap, to where he was not really sure but followed orders. And he eventually went over the speed limit by 1 kph, which was then attributed to a burnt out sensor in the brake duct that had the tear off stuck into the beginning of the race. Because he went over 1 kph, he lost 5th and ended up 6th. He was overtaken by Fernando Alonso, who then he had to overtake in the last lap, which he did, but the 5-second penalty sad moment. On a separate note, there was a great three-way battle on the Kimmel Straight to Lecombe by Ocon, Tsunoda, and Vettel, which was reminiscent of a previous style moment in a previous race, which I can't name right now, but that's okay. Just as a beautiful fact, because it was one of the nicest moments in the race, which was really enjoyable to see them all racing all three down Kimmel Straight. Last and not least, Bottas out early of the race as he got tapped by Latifi, who had driven wide and onto the gravel trap, then dipping in back to the track and clipping his right-left wheel. Now Bottas spinned out onto the gravel and was beached, ending his race immediately. So those were the highlights. Now let's do a quick recap and where we are in the standings, just to give you an idea as far as positions. In top 10, Verstappen ended up 1st, Perez 2nd, Sainz 3rd, Russell 4th, Leclerc 5th, but received a 5-second penalty. So again, he ended up 6th. Alonso took 5th. Vettel 7th, Ocon 8th, Albon 9th, and Daniel Ricciardo 10th. After all that, I'm so happy for Ricciardo. Quickly going over the team standings. Constructors, you have Red Bull in first with 475, Ferrari with 357, about 118 points behind. It's going to make it really tough for Ferrari to be able to come close or win the Constructors based on how strong Red Bull is at this moment. The fight will probably be between Ferrari and Mercedes. I think Mercedes will take second place due to the lack of consistency from Ferrari. I don't think that's going to change until the end of the year. And they have a lot more penalties to come over Mercedes. So their consistency for Mercedes will probably grant them second place. Alpine 4th, McLaren 5th, Alfa Romeo 6th, Haas 7th, AlphaTauri 8th, Aston Martin 9th, and Williams 10th. We'll see how everything plays out. I think Alpine will take 4th and McLaren will end up in 5th. As far as the driver standing, you have your top two is Verstappen and Perez. Verstappen with 284 points, leading Perez by about 93 points. Tough ask for Perez to try to come back and hopefully try to fight for a championship, but I don't think he will give up. I think I'll call it quits for Leclerc and Sainz in terms of the drivers for the drivers championship, but they are 3rd and 4th, and Mercedes, Russell, and Hamilton are 5th and 6th. Now, interesting enough, I think Ocon and Alonso will overtake Lando Norris for 7th and 8th, and I think Lando will end up in 9th. Bottas will probably end up 10th, but we'll see how the year ends. I think that's it. So thank you for watching, and if you have any suggestions, please comment as I look to improve the experience and information as well as what I bring on as we grow and develop this channel to be the best middle ground between broadcast and social media channel. Take care.